As we enter the busy Christmas period, we should remember that the country is still being affected by COVID-19. Therefore, let's continue to practice proper physical distancing and follow the advice of the authorities. That way, we can mitigate sooner than later the social and economic effects of the pandemic. Hello and welcome to our Thursday edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson.
To properly carry out a hand rub, apply a palmful of the product in your cupped hand, covering all surfaces. Rub your hands palm to palm. Rub your right palm over the back of your left hand with interlaced fingers and vice versa. Rub your hands palm to palm with fingers interlaced. Rub the back of your fingers to opposing palms with fingers interlocked. Rotationally rub backwards and forwards the clasped fingers of your right hand in your left palm and vice versa. Once your hands are dry, they are now safe.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, December 3. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says government will be conducting a technical and academic study of the security strategy under the Zone of Special Operations, ZOSO. He says this will become a template to be used not just in Jamaica, but in other countries that face similar social issues.
We're looking to have a professor from the University of the West Indies take a very serious study of how it has worked over these past 3 or so years. And with the support of the European Union, plus the budgetary support of the government of Jamaica, we will look to expand the number of communities that are under the Zone of Special Operations.
Prime Minister Holness says there will also be a review of the ZOSO legislation in Parliament to make it more functional and deployable. According to the Prime Minister, interventions under the ZOSO in Mount Salem, St. James since 2017 have significantly transformed the area.
We have transformed the community in that sense. We have repaired several kilometers of roadways. We have cleared drains. We have regular waste collection in the area. We have brought in the citizenry in terms of giving them access to critical services and amenities. The mindset in Mount Salem is changing. The message has moved from us at the center to each citizen, even on the periphery of the community. They see that the government is investing in transforming not just their communities, but transforming their lives.
The Prime Minister was addressing the recent groundbreaking ceremony for the new Mount Salem police station. He reported that the murder rate had declined in the Augusttown and Greenwich Town ZOSOs and said other communities in Westmoreland, St. Anne and St. Catherine would welcome the crime strategy. Jamaica has been named the world's leading family, cruise and wedding destination. The prestigious designation was announced at the 27th Annual World Travel Awards held last Friday. Several leading Jamaican tourism entities have also won major accolades. The winners were announced at a virtual ceremony from Moscow, Russia, after a one-year process of voting on the world's top travel, tourism and hospitality brands. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says this year has been a very challenging one, and the awards are a testament to industry stakeholders' hard work to safely reopen the country, with strict protocols to safeguard the health and well-being of our citizens, industry workers, and visitors. Mr. Bartlett says he was particularly heartened to learn that Jamaica received the world's leading cruise destination, as the industry is currently working with regional and international stakeholders to see how best to safely restart cruise stopovers. Residents of Anata Bay St. Mary now have access to free public Wi-Fi technology in the town center. It was commissioned by the Universal Service Fund, USF, last Friday at a cost of $20 million. This now brings the total number of free public Wi-Fi hotspots across the island to 10. Technology Minister Darrell Vaz says Port Antonio, Chapelton and Ocho Rios will soon join the list. The installation of public Wi-Fi is part of the government's efforts to facilitate economic and social development by ensuring that the country obtains 100% internet access and its citizens are exposed to technology.
We're in a digital age, and in this time, access to technology and devices is no longer a luxury, but a necessity. It is a crucial driving force for economic growth, job creation, and development.
As part of that, Minister Vaz says government is working to implement an urban traffic management system that will be centrally controlled to provide real-time traffic data. Additionally, under an initiative by the Science and Education Ministries, Belfield, Clonmel, Camberwell and Bromfield primary schools will be connected to the internet. In other news, 534 students with special needs are among the most recent recipients of tablet computers, courtesy of government's One Laptop or Tablet per Child initiative. Valued at $100,000, the devices were handed over to the Ministry of Education on Monday by the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF. Education Minister Favour Williams thanked UNICEF for the donation, which supports the government's drive to facilitate online learning through the provision of tablets to needy students across the island.
UNICEF has been a partner with Jamaica for a very long time, and we appreciate the knowledge that you bring, the projects that you have initiated. I'm sure when you look back over the years, you would have seen the impact that UNICEF has made, in particular in the education sector in Jamaica. I can't thank you enough for your focus on the education sector, but more important, for the special effort on our special needs students across our schools.
UNICEF Jamaica Country Representative Mariko Kagoshima says the organization is happy to provide support for special needs children during the COVID-19 pandemic.
I would like you to know that UNICEF is here to continue support with you and to ensure that Jamaica can come out and then build back better and stronger.
Cabinet has approved the introduction of same and next day service packages by the Registrar General's Department RGD in order to better satisfy customers. Minister of Education, Youth and Information Favour Williams made the announcement at the recent post-cabinet press briefing.
The packages are for the processing of the same day and next day service for birth, death and marriage certificates where applicable. The fee structures are $7,500 for the same-day service and $6,000 for the next day service.
She says the introduction of the premium service would not replace the 3 existing service platforms that carry a maximum wait time of 4 days, 10 days and 30 days. Meanwhile, Cabinet also approved the naming of the St. Anne Parish Office of the Ministry of Labour and Social Security in honor of the late Minister Shahini Robinson.
The activities to be carried out at the newly constructed facility include, among other things, the operation of the National Insurance Scheme as was directed by the late Member of Parliament.
And finally, the Ministry of Science, Energy and Technology has donated 5,000 bottles of hand sanitizers for distribution to schools across the island. The supplies, valued at $1.3 million, were handed over to the Education Ministry on Tuesday. The 2 ministries have been collaborating to aid children across the island since the COVID-19 pandemic disrupted normal education modules.
With schools more and more going back to classes, schoolroom classes, this will even become more relevant and handy, especially in the January term, and I think that and hope that it will be used to the benefit of the kids to prevent them from the COVID pandemic.
Education Minister Favour Williams lauded her technology counterpart for the donation, saying it will indeed be handy as more schools are expected to resume face-to-face classes in 2021. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
There's a drive now on by the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries to have all cattle tagged under the National Animal Identification and Traceability System. It also includes the registration of farms and slaughterhouses, as we'll hear from Senior Veterinary Officer Dr. Icolin Ricketts-Gale.
Welcome to Get the Facts, the program that provides you with information on government's policies and initiatives. I'm your host, Enthros Campbell. Today we'll be talking about the National Animal Identification and Traceability System, NAITS. Our resource person is Senior Veterinary Officer in the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, Dr. Icolin Ricketts-Gale. Dr. Ricketts-Gale, we're so happy to have you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. I'm pleased to be here.
Okay, so what is the National Animal Identification and Traceability System? What is it?
All right, it's all about identifying animals so that you can trace them from birth to slaughter and even onto when they become meat on your plate, so to speak.
Right.
It entails, for Jamaica, it entails the use of a visual ear tag in the animal's ears as well as a movement document that accompanies the animal.
Yes.
And we also have a database that we use along with the system.
When was this started?
In 2015, legislation was enacted coming off the Parent Act that governs the Veterinary Services Division, the Animal Diseases and Importation Act of Jamaica. We had regulations on the marking of bovine animals coming out of that.
Right. So you're doing the program now to get some farmers registered. Until when? When is the cutoff point? Because there's a free, right now you can do that for free without having to pay, yes?
Yes,
so
you
until
can.
When? Until when?
All right, as you would be aware, the minister made an announcement earlier in June, giving all owners of cattle up to January 2021 to have this done.
Yes.
So it's a government incentive to offer it free of cost. So it will not be a deterrent for persons to see that they do not have the funds to participate in the program.
So after January 2021, those persons who are not registered will have to pay, right?
Yes.
And how much is that? Would that be?
You know, it's very economical. It's only $300 per head of cattle. And as you know, when you have an animal being born now, that animal will not produce another offspring, say, for instance, another 1.5 to 2 years. So it's not an exorbitant cost over a long period of time.
Okay, so what does the registration period, what does it entail?
The registration of animals or the system on in its entirety, you get information on the cattle owners, the system started an interview, I should say, on the property. You have the staff that would interview the farmer, tell him what the program is about, get background information on the farmer, and then you'd move on now to, if it is the case that it's a farmer and animals are on the establishment, then we will move into identification of the animal. But I must point out to you that we not only register farms where animals are kept, but also where they're handled. For instance, like the slaughterhouse and even showgrounds.
Right. So you're going to the farmer's farm to do this processing.
Yes, we do.
But what do they have to do now for you to come to them?
What they have to do now, what we're asking is for them to contact us.
Okay.
Just make that first contact, tell us that they have animals and they'd like us to come. So we just get their address and make arrangement to go there and have the process started.
But why is the process so short though? Why is it up to January? Why are you not going over January?
It's not that we're not going beyond January, no. Right. We're just using this window to get everybody on board so that we can complete what we call our first identification exercise. That's when we identify all the adult population or the existing population in Jamaica, and then henceforth we can focus on the newborns.
Right. So what happens after January?
What happens after January? We will continue the identification as usual because you always have animals being born.
Yes.
But what happens after January that we want everyone to be aware of is that now we'll be imposing the law. All right, before there are no consequences to not participate in the system. You heard me mention before that it's regulation coming out of a Parent Act. So it is a mandatory system. So this is the only grace period now where farmers have a chance not to participate. After that, they will be committing an offense, and we have to follow that up accordingly.
Tell us, what are some of the penalties if we're not registered by the end of January 2021?
All right, under the regulations, farmers are mandated by law to notify the registrar whether or not they have animals on their compound, meaning cattle, so that we can come and identify the animal. If this is not done, then they would have committed an offense.
Okay.
All right, and this is a fine that is accompanied, or it can be also a sentence imposed by a magistrate, depending on her discretion.
Okay. Talk to our cattle owners and just tell them exactly why it is important to get registered under NATES.
Farmers, the veterinary services of the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries is reaching out to you. This is a program that will help you to enhance your animal production. It will also help to secure access to markets for your products, and it should also safeguard the health of you as a Jamaican, myself as a Jamaican. All right, so I'm imploring all to come on board, register with the NACE. This is a platform that we're trying to set to put our agriculture sector in line with international standards.
My job is to ensure that every man, woman, and child maintain good health at all times.
Our primary function is to ensure that government services are delivered effectively and efficiently.
We are building forward
together.
As we maneuver this COVID-19 period leading into the Christmas holiday, let's follow these safety measures from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
In terms of making shopping safe, because we know everybody wants to fix up the house, change the curtains, we do the deep cleaning and all these wonderful things, and you want new things to spice up the household to make it feel more Christmassy and warm. So shop online, and when shopping in stores, stay 6 feet apart from others and make sure you're wearing your mask. For persons who we know are more vulnerable and at high risk, shop early or ask someone to pick up items for you in the store. Use curbside pickup and delivery options if that is available and feasible for you. Make sure you're making your list early so you don't have to wait until the last minute to get everything that you need. Early Christmas shopping because we want to make sure that we are decreasing the crowding that happens and therefore limit your risk and exposure to COVID-19. Shop early in the day and make sure while you're shopping, you're wearing your mask, maintaining your physical distance, have your hand sanitizer, and of course your facial tissue so you can cover your coughs and sneezes appropriately. And make sure you check yourself for symptoms before leaving home. So if you're ill, please stay home and don't go out shopping at this point in time. For our businesses, we know you expect increased pedestrian traffic. Make sure your hand sanitization station is accessible, easily accessible, especially immediately on entry to your business. Make sure you're enforcing physical distancing, not only within the business space itself, but outside. Sometimes we can see those very crowded long lines outside. Promote your own safe space and maintaining that physical distance. Encourage early customers with discounts or other types of incentives so persons don't wait until the last minute. Offer online and telephone services as much as possible for as many services as possible within your business. Offer delivery services if that is an option. Have options for short interactions to be expedited. And make sure you have reminders of the infection prevention and control measures within your business so that you can remind your clients of what is expected.
Jamaica Eye can help you protect our citizens.
Jamaica Eye will play a part in increasing your public safety. Jamaica Eye is part of an island-wide network of camera surveillance systems designed to increase the safety of you, our citizens. If you have a camera system outside your home or office facing a public space, log on to jamaicaeye.gov.jm today. Jamaica Eye, we're all connected. The Ministry of National Security, creating a safer and prosperous Jamaica.
Taking care of our oral health is very important. Dental surgeon Dr. Oswald Dunn takes us through a few steps to do just that.
Dental health is really important because the mouth is the entry point of nutrition in our bodies. And if it is not functioning properly, then we run the risk of not getting the correct nutrition. Actually, we refer more so to oral health these days than dental health. If we have bad teeth that impair our ability to chew properly, then we will tend to keep away from certain food groups that could be challenging to chew. People with bad oral hygiene, people who use and eat, drink a lot of sweets. You can have decay, and you can also have, along with it, periodontal gum disease. You know, the big one that jump out at me is periodontal disease, gum disease. That is when the gum begin to be bleedy, sore, puffy, and just generally uncomfortable. It carries some social consequences, bad breath, and you tend to lose self-confidence. It's so important to have a consultation with your dental personnel, whether the dental surgeon or the hygienist, who will be able to diagnose the needed treatment for such a condition. All sugars are bad, but everything is in moderation. The Jamaica Dental Association endorsed the efforts of the government in reducing the levels of sugar in the bottled beverages. The aim is to get it to 2.5 milligrams in 100 mils by the year 2023. It would be roughly 2.5 teaspoonful. The current level that the government has aimed for, and it was introduced the end of January, is 5 milligrams per 100 mils. So that is coming from 6.5, so it's a gradual reduction. And the taste will be not so significantly different. As a dentist, I recommend the soft, but I'm aware that a lot of patients tend towards the harder ones. It does some damage by cutting a little line at the neck of the teeth, just where the teeth meet the gum line. So we recommend the soft toothbrush. It's really important to begin by putting the brush on the gum. A lot of people avoid the gum because they tend to think that it makes the gum bleedy. It's the exact opposite. It is as a result of not brushing the gum why there is some amount of bleediness. And you should brush in the direction of growth. The top ones, you brush them down in a circular motion, and the bottom ones, you brush them up, covering all surfaces. Don't forget your tongue and, as I said before, the gum itself. Flossing is very, very important. If you try to imagine that the toothbrush does not get between the teeth, the only thing that can remove the material that will accumulate between the teeth would be the dental floss. The technique is also important. Hold it short, get it past that little tight area, and gently bring it down into the gum, that little crevice of the gum, and remove it. Remove material that might have accumulated there. And we recommend 6 monthly checkup. If you tend to be prone to decays, we would really like to see you every 6 months. If you have been checked and you are pretty much okay, a yearly visit would be adequate. Extraction really is the last resort. With regular examination, we can pick up using x-rays and visual examination early decays, and these can be effectively dealt with by regular fillings. If it has gone too far and it is now in the nerve, there are other procedures called root canals that can be done, and sometimes we need to cover the entire tooth with a crown to bring it back to usefulness. If your teeth are malaligned, just not aesthetically pleasing, or are causing some kind of effect on your body, then they should be straightened. Orthodontic treatment or braces simply mean moving the teeth through bone to put them in a more harmoniously pleasing position. It's important because you are moving teeth through bone, and the harmony between the joint, the soft tissues, and the teeth must be respected. Not respecting it can result in pain in the joint, headaches, and just a general sense of discomfort in your mouth. It's important to visit your dentist regularly and without fear, because with new technology, and we now have many new dentists in our system, where it's not difficult to get an appointment to see a dentist on a regular basis. There's always a needle, but outside of that, there's absolutely no pain.
This is where our journey ends, but only for today. Do join us again tomorrow when we bring you another informative program. In the meantime, stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine@jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.